All right, click the links for Odyssey BitChute, join the channel, become a valuable member, get access to the behind-the-scenes unlisted stuff, or support you on the various other links. Thanks to the subscribers or donations. These guys are very, very cool. Or Gab and Telegram. So, the quartering got swatted. Tim Pool gets swatted. Everyone gets swatted, including some dudes in Comicsgate. So what this is the left wing is weaponizing the authoritarian power of the state to use agents of the state to delete people, or potentially spread fear and intimidation acts of, terrible things. It's the goal is obviously to have a chilling effect on free speech, and they're going after people like Tim Pool and the quartering. Should blow your mind. Now, here's the thing. People make fun of both those guys. They're both doing important stuff in their own way. Every step moving people further down the rabbit hole is useful and beneficial, even if they're not. Tim Pool does his live streams, Timcast. Even if they avoid a lot of hot topics, you can quickly tell what areas they're avoiding, and the people in the comment sections are based. So they're both in their own way doing great stuff, and they're huge platforms. So it's like anything that pushes a counter narrative to this, insane globalist takeover that the West is undergoing is a threat to their power. As you see these people getting swatted, and they're hoping that the SWAT goes in there and just deletes these people. So there's the goal of having a chilling effect on free speech to spread fear and intimidation. Say, oh, we don't want these people spreading these messages, or we'll use a state actor to literally delete you and your family. Now the other question is, so why SWAT knows that this is just weaponized? SWAT's just a tool. The police are mindless agents, will do anything their masters tell them to do. Anything. So it's finally that whole thin blue line, MAGA, brainwashed, vaguely right-wing stuff is finally washed away. There's just been too many episodes where you look at these you realize that they're not the police. They're state actors. They're government. It's not public schools. Those are government schools, government propaganda brainwashing camps. So you got to kind of realign your whole perspective. Is our side anti-cop or pro-cop? We want personal liberty, and yes, you're going to need preferably elected sheriffs, not police who are kind of elected by people that you elect. They're too far removed from consequences of not being reelected. That's where you need a sheriff model and not a police model. But we want better cops. We want personal liberty at max and power of the state at a minimum. And so they finally people right of center are finally looking at cops and go, oh, they're not our guys. They're just puppets who will do anything their masters tell them to do. They will gladly violate the Constitution. You go, wait a minute. Your police in the United States of America, your highest duty is uphold the Constitution. There are various duties below that, but the Constitution, Bill of Rights, is the supreme law of the land. If you're openly violating the Fourth and Fifth Amendment, then you're terrorists. You don't have the 10th Amendment police powers. You're acting in violation of the fundamental constitutional rights of civil liberty. And so finally people on the right are slowly starting to notice that. Now, the next question is, SWAT knows they're being weaponized against people to silence people. They know that. So why doesn't SWAT on their own adjust their own tactics to... there's Fourth Amendment issues and Fifth Amendment issues of, reasonable search and seizure and due process stuff. But there's exigent circumstances where there's fear of imminent harm, so they arrive with this militarized police. And it's like, gee, why do we need militarized police? That's a good question, but it's not one that will be answered by the Jedis on YouTube. So you think, oh, why doesn't SWAT adjust their tactics? Because they don't want to. Or rather, the powers that be that are pulling their strings don't want them to. They want to have a chilling effect on free speech. They want you to know that the state can come along and delete you. Oh, it's by accident. We got the wrong house, and we threw a tear gas in and burned everyone alive. Sorry. Oh, that's not a civilization that's going to be around long when the state can do that. Oh, there's a homeless guy. He's holding a knife, and he's 50 feet away, and he's standing still. The guys with the MP5s, light him up. Oh, so you just murdered a guy who's no threat to you because you wanted to. Oh, we're gonna trailer park. There's a 80-year-old man who's asleep in his trailer park. Kick down the door. He's in bed under his comforter asleep. Light him up. Oh, you guys just murdered an 80-year-old guy. Huh. No consequences for that. Oh, just gonna, yeah, we'll fire them and reshuffle them. So we want a better police, we want a better state, and you're not going to have this in the present system. There's no fixing this within the present system. You're going to need to either go back to a 50 state model, or which was what was originally friggin' intended, or something different than what it is, because there's no kind of representative constitutional republic in a multicultural state, because you can't represent someone, you can't represent, one representative doesn't represent different ideologies. You're better off getting people with different belief systems to have their own regions and their own representative state. Which is a fundamental restructuring of America, but it's also a return to what the founders intended. So nothing is working with this present system, and getting people to kind of turn off that sports ball and video games, and I need to order my Uber Eats so I can watch my shows on Netflix. Yeah, that's going to have to go away for a few years. You can kind of focus on the problem. So the next step is, like, SWAT is not taking care of their own, they're not cleaning their own house. Apparently a bunch of sociopaths. And they're saying, okay, what about our representatives at state level or federal level? Why aren't they securing the personal liberties against the authoritarian power of the state? It's a good question. Because they're not doing that, because they don't want to do that. They want the authoritarian power of the state. Oh, I mean, seems like we've gotten pretty far away from the Constitution and the dogma of the Founding Fathers. Yes, we have. Anyway, click the links for a subscribe star and the various other ways support channel work, Odyssey and BitChute, where the real videos are kind of kept. And I'll see you guys all next episode.